And we got to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, 800-224-2004. For those of you that are just tuning in, let me go ahead and explain what's going on also this week. So I am offering you a chance to see something very magical. I am growing out my hair. It is very long. It is luscious. I am excited to be able to see how long I can get it. If I continue to build this YouTube channel, I'm trying to build this up. I'm trying to get more views, more followers, all of that. If you subscribe and I get to over 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month, I will shave my head live. I will shave my head live. You can watch it all. I'll put it up on YouTube. So all you need to do is go ahead and subscribe to the channel at Mr. Cole Thompson. You do that. I'll put it on. You'll be able to watch it. We'll try to do it in the studio. I'll try and get it approved. I'll let Michael come in and shave part of it. It'll be a fun time. We'll all enjoy it. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers by Halloween. And the only spooky thing that we will have moving forward is the likes of me being bald on this show. 800-224-2004. Okay, now let's talk about the win that happened this past weekend. Georgia did walk away victorious against Auburn. They did. So you got to give credit where credit's due. And I'm going to say something that a lot of people, maybe outside of the college football era, and those of you who don't live in the southern region will truly understand. SEC rivalries, those games, you just throw out the game plan. If you walk away with the win, that in itself is impressive. Because of these are games that are embedded with pure hate and disdain and a culture that is ravenous, and all they want to do is see you suffer. And one of the more underappreciated rivalries, which is really sad that it's going away now that we're expanding to, however, I think it's eight games with the new rules of Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC. One of the most underappreciated rivalries is Auburn versus Georgia. And there's a reason why it's called the old rivalry in the South, because it's been around forever. It's a staple. And so whether they're being played at Sanford Stadium or Jordan Hare, this is always a fun game. And no matter what happens, as long as you walk away with the win, you also walk away with bragging rights. So I'm not going to take that away at all from Georgia in the sense. They found a way to come back in the second half and they dominated. They found a way to not self-implode and put themselves behind the wagon to where they couldn't recover. They had a great execution from Carson Beck in the second half. Carson Beck was great for the final 30 minutes. And Brock Bowers is a human alien. And the reality, folks, is that if this was just not such a QB-driven award, I don't know how Brock Bowers is not one of the front runners for the Heisman Trophy. I don't. Because if he basically is a carbon copy Frankenstein monster that was created in a lab or came from another planet and was told, hey, go into a football field and dominate. And he says, yes, sir. And every single year, you just look at, honestly, the greatest tight end that's ever stepped foot on a college field. That's what you have. He's a security blanket. He's unguardable. He's a great route runner. He does it all. He is so damn good for this offense. And what's so frustrating is that I wonder what will this offense be if anything happens to him. Because now we are seeing the same kind of faults with Georgia for 5 straight weeks. And I'm going to say this real fast because I know the people on YouTube and I know the people in the comment section and anybody who is going to call into the show is going to say that I'm a hater. I still believe Georgia has the best chance possible to go undefeated this year in the SEC, win the SEC championship again, and be in line to represent the conference for a 3rd national title. I'm not doubting that. And I know Kirby Smart, and I know who he is, and I know that every single time that he has been doubted, salivates, loves it. He is beyond happy. He is ecstatic that people are putting them behind the wagon. He wants people to doubt this team. But there is reason for doubt. We can all agree with that one. We can all agree that right now there is reason for doubt in Athens, Georgia. Because the same formula has been going on for the last 5 weeks. It's no longer, a bad showing against an Auburn team that is going through the rebuild underneath Hugh Freeze. It's no longer, they didn't come out swinging against UAB and it was 14-14 at one point. Or against UT Martin, it was a sluggish start. Or South Carolina, you're trailing at halftime. It's every single week the same thing. And the offense worries me because if it's Mike Bobo, and anybody that knows the SEC knows that Mike Bobo was part of the major problems that led to Mark Richt never being able to win a national title. And that was the reason why Georgia always played second fiddle to Alabama. He was a major concern, and that offense is right back implemented. I get it. It's a new play caller, but it's the same offense that struggled for years and years and years in the SEC when Nick Saban was at his peak, when Alabama was not only the team to beat in the SEC, but they were certainly the only face of college football. It's the same offense. But the problems that I have right now are offensively sluggish starts in the beginning, because you have to admit, even Georgia fans have to admit, it's not that you were sweating for the first 15 minutes. It was this offense was so pitifully sluggish that you had reason for concern once again, because it's the same formula every single week. But the defense right now is honestly scaring me a little bit. The defense is where I worry about Georgia, and it's not the same dominant. The thing that Georgia's always been able to do is win in trench play up front, offensively on the line, and defensively. They've always been able to win at the point of attack, primarily defending the run. Every single year, you watch this team just basically make offenses one-dimensional. The only way you're going to win is through the air. And even then, you're going to have struggles, because we send out first-round talents every year to the NFL draft. We have guys that eventually are going to become household names on Sundays like they were on Saturdays. So basically, it's dead water. You're dead in the water, plain simple. But Georgia's ability to win in trench play has always been their bread and butter. And that is the concern right now that I have. That is, right now they rank 67th nationally in defending the run. Against Auburn, they allowed over 200 rushing yards. And yeah, you could say, okay, well, they have two great dual threat quarterbacks, and Hugh Freeze does an excellent job of rotating them in, and Peyton Thorne can utilize his legs, and Robbie Ashford can beat us. And let's not forget about Jarquez Hunter, who had, I think, like 59 yards, and he rushed in the touchdown. Like, you can use all that. But you're not 67th in this game. You're 67th through 5 games in the regular season. And so when you have that, that becomes a major liability and a concern moving forward. And that's something that you have to say, whoa, this is not the same Georgia team. And I understand. Georgia right now, they still aren't playing full speed. They don't have a fully healthy Ladd McConkey. He's got back problems. You don't have Kendall Milton out there in your backfield. So that's hurt your rushing attack. And right now you're averaging 4.2 yards per play instead of like 5.2 yards per play. And you're not able to capitalize inside the red zone. I get all that. I do. But you are Georgia. And I don't want to hear from anybody out there that, oh, well, we lost Bear Alexander and we lost A.D. Mitchell. Guys, you also went to the transfer portal and you added in Ra Thomas, who was the number 1 wide receiver at Mississippi State last year. He said, I don't want to be in Starkville. I want to be a part of a championship culture. So he came over, and I'm not seeing him. Dominic Lovett. He was the number 1 wide receiver last year at Missouri. He said, see you later, Columbia, and welcome, Athens, Georgia. I just don't see it. And I'm not blaming Carson Beck entirely. Carson Beck has had a very sluggish start to his tenure as the starting quarterback for Georgia, replacing Stetson Bennett. And you know what? Replacing a guy that is a 2-time national champion and honestly beat the odds and was the epitome of what you wanted is a challenge in itself. And he was not the problem in the second half. He wasn't. He actually had a very good game. But with these concerns moving forward and your inability to stop the run and your sluggish start to begin games and your inability to really come out swinging, it gives me concern. It does. And it should give you concern if you're a Georgia fan. Not because of I think that you won't be able to win the SEC West, but if you're trying to stay undefeated, guys, you got a game this weekend against Ray Davis and Kentucky. Ray Davis needed 11 carries to rush for over 200 yards against Florida. And I'm not saying that he's going to rush for 200 against you. What I'm saying is that if he goes for a $120 and 2 touchdowns, that might be enough to lead to a 14-0 differential and put you behind the count before the game's really even begun and you've woken up and chose violence. I'm saying that against a guy like Quinshon Judkins in early November, his ability to make defenders miss in the open field and win past the line of scrimmage is a little horrifying. And Tennessee, I am not a fan of Tennessee. I think that they are the most overrated team in the SEC this year. I said it back in July. I stand by the statement. But they can run the football. And if you can't stop the run and be dominant in those areas, that's reasons to think that maybe you aren't an elite team. Now, the good news is, again, you're Georgia. You're a two-time defending national champion. And so you're going to get the benefit of the doubt like Alabama got every single year. But at the same time, thankfully, there hasn't been an elite team in college football this season anywhere. So that plays into you. But if you finally do not start to put together a compelling offense to begin games, and your defense wakes up and finally chooses to attack instead of play idle, you're not going to win it this year. You're just not. And the other thing that's really important, you haven't seen a national championship three-peat since the 1930s. The way you're playing, you won't see it again. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.